Hey all! Today we'll be making Chebureki, a street food found throughout the former Soviet Union and originating in Crimea and the Caucasus. Start by combining 3 cups of water to about a teaspoon of salt and mix until dissolved. Once dissolved, go ahead and add 4 cups of flour. And then around 4 tablespoons of oil. Some versions of the recipe call for vodka, but this is optional and I didn't have any on hand. Once that's all in, go ahead and start mixing. If I were to do this again, I would remind myself to do the flour first and then add the water to that, but mistakes will be a common theme throughout this process. Once it is somewhat come together, go ahead and begin kneading the dough. Add more flour if needed to achieve the right texture. We want the dough to be smooth, elastic, and non-tacky. It took me about 2 minutes to knead it until I felt it was good. Once this is done, put it back in the bowl, put some plastic wrap over it, and leave it out for about an hour. In the meantime, we can prepare the filling for the chebureki. Traditionally, the filling would be ground pork, beef, or lamb, but I have a bunch of ground turkey in the house, so I used a pound of that instead. Add in 1 large onion or 2 small onions. The exact type of onion is totally on you. Toss in about a half bunch of parsley and a bit of salt and pepper, and begin to combine thoroughly. It was about halfway through this process that I realized I probably should have been wearing gloves to avoid raw meat getting under my fingernails, but do as I say, not as I do. Once done, I will put this in the fridge until it is time to take out the dough. When your hour of waiting is up, go ahead and take the dough out and separate it into smaller pieces. I cut it into quarters here to make it easier to tear into smaller balls. You should end up with about 8 balls, slightly smaller than a softball. Flatten those out, and the process from here is very similar to anyone who has made empanadas before. They should be around 7 to 8 inches in diameter, but make sure they are not larger than the diameter of the pot or pan you use to fry these in. Take out the filling and begin spreading out just enough on the flattened piece of dough that it fills most of one half of the piece, leaving about an inch to a half an inch of space between the edge of the dough and the filling. Repeat until all your chebureki are filled. Once they are all filled, get a bit of water and go around the edge of the dough before pulling the other side over the filling to close them. The water will help the dough stick together and make a better seal. You can use a fork like I did to help seal the chebureki, but smooshing the dough down with your fingers at the edges should be fine. Go ahead and fill your pot or pan with about an inch of oil. I recommend a Dutch oven so the oil doesn't splatter all over your kitchen, but use whatever's available to you. Set the stove to around medium-high and wait for the oil to get hot. If you don't have a thermometer to use, go ahead and use a wooden utensil of some sort and stick it in. If you see bubbling like that, then it means it's ready. If you don't have that either, just take a small piece of leftover dough and toss it in. If it fries, the oil is ready. Carefully place the chebureki in the oil and fry about 2 to 3 minutes on each side or until it becomes golden brown. There are much better ways to flip these, such as using 2 spatulas, but again, do as I say, not as I do. Once it looks good to go ahead and take it out of the oil and place it on a wire rack to cool. They really do come out looking quite gorgeous. I have a bit of mayonnaise on the side to dip it in, as that seems to be what is recommended by the website I found this recipe on. To my Americanized taste buds, I feel like it could use a little more salt, but other than that, these are great and I would absolutely do these again. Thank you all for watching.